Hi, I'm Bilal, founder of IT Varsity. Now, a lot of young people ask me this question. I know there are huge prospects in the field of tech, and I want to become a developer. Do I need a degree? Meaning a university degree. The short answer is no, you don't need a university degree. The long answer is that a degree can actually be disadvantageous to you. Now let me tell you why. Technology is moving forward at an incredible pace. In fact, experts tell us that every 6 months we are getting completely new technologies emerging. Now, if you are doing a 3 to 4 year degree, half of what you learn in your first year is already outdated by your third year, which is crazy. So why would you spend 3 or 4 years studying something that's changing every 6 months? Now, the other thing to consider is that a number of big tech companies like Google and Apple, which are the biggest players, don't even require a degree any longer. As long as you can show that you have the skills to do what they need you to do, they're not even going to look at whether you've got a college degree or not. So that's also something very big to consider. And remember, Google and Apple are among the trendsetters in technology. And what they do, everyone downstream seems to follow. And over the next few years, this trend is going to go through all parts of the tech industry. So you need to keep that in mind. The other thing to consider is why these companies are doing that. The reason they're doing this is because they need developers, and they need developers fast. They can't afford for people to leave school, go and put their lives on hold for 4 years while they complete a degree and then go and become developers. Because when you finish a degree, you're still going back to the companies and you're almost starting from scratch, learning the technologies that they require. That's been my experience as a software developer. So what is the solution? You know technology is lucrative. You want to get into a career in technology. What are your options? My suggestion would be take a year off to study the technologies that are in demand currently. I mean, the in-demand technologies are not going to change dramatically over the next few years. It's just that those very same technologies are going to be upgraded, but it's not going to be any major revolution coming. So look at what's in demand. And the best place to look is the big companies, Facebook, Google, Twitter, Apple. See what they are putting out. See what they are requiring out of their developers. And then spend a year learning those technologies. I would recommend going through a formal study path with an institute. I mean, you can learn on YouTube. There are thousands of free tutorials and videos on YouTube. But the trouble with that is there is no one to really verify whether the information you're getting on a YouTube tutorial is correct or not, or if the technology is in vogue or not, or whether the education they're giving you is up to a standard or not. I would recommend going with a recommended training company that has done the research for you, that keeps their content up to date and gives you the most up-to-date technologies, or teaches you the most up-to-date technologies. Spend a year studying that. Now, IT Varsity, for example, is an accredited institute, and whereas it is a college, but IT Varsity offers a 1-year qualification, which is a vocational qualification. Now, back in the days, vocational qualifications were kind of looked down upon because they were seen as being less important or less lucrative than degrees, but that's changed in a big way. So look at the option of a 1-year vocational qualification, which is a very practical qualification, and learn the skills. Get into a job. That's the most important part. Get into a job. And then, if you still want to pursue a degree, do your degree while you are working via correspondence or via online learning. And in most cases, your employer will be happy to pay for your qualification, for your university. In that way, you don't incur any debts. You don't need a bursary. You don't You don't have to spend years and years and years paying off study loans. You are fast tracking yourself into a lucrative career in development, and best of all, you are making your employer pay for your qualification. The other advantage of that approach is that you are not, because you are working in the field and you are developing constantly, you're keeping yourself up to date by working, by doing the actual work, not just by reading articles or having to follow YouTube tutorials. You are following what's going on in the market through your workplace, and in that way you're keeping yourself up to date. And think about it like this, finally, that in the 4 years that it will take you to get a degree, you could get a 1-year vocational qualification and 3 years of work experience. And that is extremely valuable. You'll be so valuable that companies all over the place will be trying to poach you to come and join them. Because to have developers who have 3 years of experience is very difficult. I mean, in South Africa alone, there is a shortage of 70,000 software developers. I mean, we need these people desperately. And this is a trend globally. And the more experience you have, obviously, the more you earn. So the earning potential is also much greater. Ultimately, to sum up my advice, you don't need a college degree to get into a lucrative career in technology. In fact, the college degree could be a disadvantage to you because it puts your life on hold while the world around you just keeps moving forward. So you are almost stuck in this university or in this college, trying to study, trying to keep up, but the world is moving much faster than your studies. I wouldn't personally recommend it. It's not the path that I took personally, and it's not a path that I would recommend to anybody. But if you want a degree, if you think a degree is important, get the skills, get the job, and while you are working, work towards that degree. No one stops you after that, and most likely your employer will pay for that degree. So that's my advice to anybody that wants to get into a career in technology.